This is 10-5 study guide page 2 exercise number 3. Given the equation of a hyperbola, asked to find some information and make a graph. This has y squared first, so I know this is going to be an up and down hyperbola. The square root of 16 is 4, and the square root of 9 is 3. That's going to help me find out some information. So first thing to make a graph, it's centered at 0, 0 because x and y are not shifted at all. There's no parenthesis. So when I make my graph here, I know that I have to go up and down 4 to find my vertices. So here, up 4, put a vertex, and then down 4, put a vertex. So my vertices are at 0, 4 and 0, negative 4. You can write those as just how I read it, or you can write it as 0, comma, plus or minus 4. Both ways mean the same thing. Next thing is, let's say we try to use this 9 here, this 3, that's going to be our conjugate axis. So to the right 3 and to the left 3, that's going to be, our full conjugate axis would be 6. That's going to help us find out the slope. It'll also help us with finding where the foci are. So first foci, because that's our next thing that we're looking for, that's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The c squared is the foci. So we're going to have the 16 and the 9, that's our a squared and b squared, and then the c squared is our focus. So we'll have 16 plus 9 equals c squared. 16 plus 9 is 25 equals c squared. Taking the square root on both sides, the square root of 25 equals c, and that's 5. So our focus length for this one is 5. So one above here is going to be one of my foci, and then the same thing down below, one below this vertex would be my other foci. So they're at 0, 5 and 0, negative 5. So when I go to do my foci over here, I can write them like that, or I can write it as 0, comma, plus or minus 5. Last thing to find is the asymptotes. The asymptotes, you always use the slope to figure that out. Slope is rise over run. So in this case, to get to our vertex, we went up 4. To get to the end of our conjugate axis, we went right 3. That's 4 over 3. You can also look at it up here. Y gave us 4, x gave us 3. That's the rise over the run. So our slope is 4 over 3. Therefore, our asymptotes are going to give us y equals plus or minus 4 over 3x. We can finish drawing the graph now. This intersection of the end of my conjugate axis and where the vertex would be gives me a point there that I can then use to help draw in my asymptote. And the same here, the end where my vertex and my conjugate axis come together, that can help me draw an asymptote down here. Now I can draw draw the actual u's in. One's going to go through here and approach that asymptote, and it's going to go through here and approach that asymptote. And then the same thing down here, through the vertex, approaching the asymptote there, through this vertex, same vertex, approaching the asymptote there. So that would be the finish of the graph of this hyperbola.